ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
Fantasy Sports puts you in control of your own team. The Nick Bonsanto Show is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, co-hosted by SFL CEO Zach Stanley and SFL COO Seth Young. The Star Fantasy League Show, on the air.
Make this game your finest hour.
Now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined as always by CEO of Star Fantasy Leagues, Mr. Zach Stanley.
Hello, Jonald. It's unfortunate to hear the latest news. Have you heard the news?
Is the bird the word?
Seth Young is moving to Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha. Oh, no.
He won't be with us anymore.
Oh,
He became obsessed with Peyton Manning during the playoffs, and he thinks that's where he needs to be from now on, I guess.
Let's join in the man who's apparently leaving us for browner pastures. It's not really green in Omaha, is it?
Of course it's green in Omaha.
Mr. Seth Young.
And it's yellow from all the cornfields that are there. There's nothing in Nebraska but corn. By the way, I've had the hiccups for the past hour, and there's no end in sight.
I think I'm going to awkwardly make light of every single time you hiccup, and we're going to have radio silence every single time.
It's horrible. I've been looking at home remedies online for the last hour or two, and nothing is working.
I hope you hiccup through the entire show.
It's going to happen.
You know what? I'm hoping that our commercials during the break are actually about remedies for the hiccups.
He needs to be burped.
Anything is better than the commercials on the break now.
Oh, man.
He's a big baby that needs burping.
I believe we do have a StarFantasyLeagues.com commercial running on Sports Byline, so you can't really insult all the commercial stuff.
Well, what are you going to do?
See? So you can't do that. Today on the show, we're actually doing something great. Last time we did some mailbags. Seth sang a song, but we're actually debuting a new segment today. It's actually called Jonald's Mailbag.
It's mailbag time soon.
We're taking your questions, but it is Monday, so we're breaking down today's NBA lineups with maybe Seth might put a lineup in today.
I've got a lineup.
And we're also going to break down tomorrow's big slate of NBA games as well. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Nick Bonsanto is proud to present the Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SFL Show. Let's do this. Time for your Star Fantasy League's NBA Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
That's right, Mr. Voiceover Guy. It's time to break down our Monday NBA lineups on StarFantasyLeagues.com.
And we're back.
Thank you for 10 seconds later, Zach.
Is it mailbag time?
No, of course. Did you hear the song for the mailbag?
No, not yet.
Well, I haven't heard you sing it yet, so it's definitely not mailbag.
Patience, big Padawan.
Seth, I do believe that you said you made a lineup. Zach and I giggled at you, and because of that, we're going to critique the living crap out of your lineup tonight.
You're right. I did make a lineup.
Seth, would you like to explain a little bit about how you come to get your lineup on StarFantasyLeagues.com, what it's comprised of, all that good
Sure.
jazz
And
for
our new listeners on StarFantasyLeagues.com, I'm talking about my NBA lineup for tonight's contest. I get $100,000 that I have to stay under a salary cap for, and I have to draft 10 different players and basically act as the GM for the team. Or is it 9 different players? It's 8 different players.
Wow, I'm glad you were on this site.
Wasn't even right about the 10. So I have 8 players, and I have to make them all. They all have salaries below $100,000. That fit below $100,000 salary cap. So I had a couple of big studs in my lineup tonight. One of them is Anthony Davis, because you have to go with the unibrow, and he's just killing it every single night. Another one I have is Steph Curry. He's kind of
You're not going to let us you're not going to even breathe and let us talk about your lineup,
Well,
Seth?
I figure I'll talk about it after.
No, I don't think that's how.
Well,
Zach,
what do you think about Anthony
Zach,
Davis?
is that how this show works?
That's incorrect.
Well, how do you say anything bad about Anthony Davis?
I have no problem with it. Zach, you actually saying you have a problem with that?
No, I don't have an issue with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Or you're just saying the
Don't
format
worry.
is wrong.
Yeah, it's more his entire opinion and
Okay.
viewpoint.
I've got a
in
couple
general.
of people in
No,
there
no.
who I know you're going to tear me apart
worry.
because I don't even know who they are.
Yeah, Anthony Davis is fine. Amir Johnson's out, leading to more dominance down low for for Anthony Davis. That's fine. Continue.
On the same team, I have some dude named Alexis Ajink. He was getting the start. I don't know what his name is. Ajinka. He's getting the start down in New Orleans at center. I know that Greg Stevens was also playing, and so is the other dude who I have no idea what his name is.
I'm sorry. That's on a night that there is so much value on StarFantasyLeagues.com. You went with the starting center for a team that doesn't really give the ball to the center.
I have to be heavily critical of that.
I don't even think the word's heavly critical. I think it's just a head nod. If you're
he
watching
was-
us on YouTube right now, SFL show, I'm just shaking my head.
He was priced really low, and I went with him to fit in some other guys.
Okay. Because he's low is not the reason you pick people. I got 2 guys in my lineup tonight that are priced low, but they're actually going to get some production. Zach may disagree with me. I got Chase Budinger at 37 or 36.92. He's going to get the start tonight. Kevin Martin's out. I feel like he's going to have a decent game against them Houston Rockets. That's going to be a high-scoring, quick-paced game.
Can we hear another horrible thing that Seth has to say?
Yeah, well, I wanted to give our listeners, because I mentioned saving money.
There are a lot of people down there that you can give a look to.
Yeah.
Well,
Continue.
as a newbie,
Seth.
this is what I did. So I have Steph Curry in my lineup too, who I'm sure you don't have a problem with because he's
against
Steph
the
Curry.
worst team in the entire planet. No,
He's fantastic.
They're playing Philly.
And the last time he played them, he went off.
Philly let up 80-something points in the first half the other day against Clippers.
That game last night was one of the worst
hilarious.
NBA games I've seen in a long time. The Clippers won by 45 against the 76ers. And it literally looked like they were out there at Rucker Park. They were throwing shots off the backboard, and Blake Griffin was dunking them.
Where was Uncle Drew?
Where's Rucker Park?
Really?
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, my God. Move on, Seth.
No, really, what is
No.
that?
That's in the Mecca.
It's Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
It's in New York City.
Right? Anyway,
Yeah.
so I've also got...
Is it actually in Brooklyn? I think it's in Brooklyn.
I think it is in
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
I think it's in Brooklyn.
So I've also got
either way.
Boris Diaw in my lineup.
Yeah. Oh, good. I like that one.
And
Good.
on the same team, I have Danny Green in my lineup.
That's a bad.
So-
Why do you have Boris Diaw? I'm actually curious. Just
Well,
because,
he had a good fantasy night the other night, and he's starting again for the Spurs.
okay. At least you know that he's starting because I always forget Tiago Splitter's name for some reason. It just I know his face, but when his name just completely escapes me.
So I have Danny Green. And
I don't like Danny Green only because the entire team is back tonight.
Yeah, Danny Green's a difficult player.
Parker's playing.
There's too many minutes to go around.
Duncan's playing. You're in trouble with that pick.
So I've also put in Kyle Lowry, who I know has been kind of a stud lately.
Perfectly okay with that. He's going up
like
against
him.
Brian Roberts, who absolutely cannot guard him
And
whatsoever.
The Bucks, who are plagued by injury, I picked 2 people from their team.
Are they playing? Hold on. Russian roulette. Are they playing? Go ahead.
Yeah, one of them is Gianni Antetokounmpo.
You picked one of the guys who isn't starting on that team tonight. Congratulations. Keep going.
And Chris Middleton.
Oh my God.
Chris Middleton's not that bad.
Yeah, but how did he get the Greek freak?
You want to get in my head? Well, here's a glimpse. This is my lineup.
All right. Zach, we just got a glimpse into the way that Seth, he admits that he is a newcomer at Fantasy NBA. He's much better on StarFantasyLeagues.com at hockey. He knows that. Much better at football. Baseball's coming up. But let's explain to him how a lineup should look tonight.
Well, you
Zach.
know what I saw here? I saw that Seth,
trying.
he really put in some time, it seems like, kind of.
He's okay. Let's admit the first time you made a lineup, you were like, "Why did you put him in?" I don't know. Tonight you actually had a reason for a couple of them. You're getting a little bit better, but you still had Danny Green and Alex Ajinka somehow.
Practice makes perfect.
On StarFantasyLeagues.com, you can practice every single day. We have free rolls every day, tomorrow and Thursday. $50 NBA free roll. If you don't want to learn by playing for money, all you do is you play for free. It's the easiest way in the world to learn. Right, Zach?
That's right. And one of the big holes I saw in your lineup was that you did not have Jared Sullinger in.
Oh, man.
Which I thought was a must-start situation, particularly because right now he's listed as a center on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and he's been off the chain.
I think that's one of the biggest understatements I've heard in a while. He has had multiple 40-point games in the past week. Considering he's at $12,000 on StarFantasy
I've been
Leagues,
very impressed with what he's been doing, and it seems like Brad Stevens has finally put a big dose of trust in him, giving him on average 35 minutes per game right now. And I think that trust is only going to increase, and I think his skill level is going to go up gradually throughout the rest of the season. I'm very excited about what he has to offer from a
don't
fantasy
forget,
perspective.
this is a guy who's a second-year player. It's not like he's a veteran he's not like he's a Gerald Wallace who's kind of bounced around. This is a guy, it's his second year. Last year he was a little bit on the injured side, never really got much traction.
He had some injuries, and he wasn't at the forefront of the team at that point.
No, not even close.
And he's got an opportunity right now, and he's making the most of it.
He's got traction is the word for him. He's got it, and I don't think he's going to let go. His teammate Gerald Wallace the other day said that these 20 and 10 and 20 and 20 games, he's like this. He just should expect this. Like this is something.
This is pretty.
He's got natural rebounding talent, which is very rare.
It's becoming pretty routine for him, and I was very excited when the Celtics picked them up. I know you're a Celtics fan,
20,
John. I root for the
21st?
Celtics as well. And yeah, I mean the pick was absolutely genius. He kept falling because of injury issues and maybe being a little bit too small in some people's eyes, but he's a force down low, and I'm excited for the future.
You know who they also said was too small at that position? Kevin Love. How's that working out?
I love Kevin
Yeah,
Love. I love to love Kevin Love.
Love the big love.
And his appreciation for tacos, evidently.
All right, Zach, round out your lineup, who you liked, who you could fill in for what Seth did so wrong.
Well, right now, looking at the scores, I'm a little disappointed because I have Randy Foye in, who was an absolute steal at 9,000. Ty Lawson out. I can't go. I felt like I couldn't go wrong here.
But could you avoid Indiana tonight? I mean,
I was not willing to do that.
There's only 6 games. I know that
not for that price.
Him and Quincy Miller are the big value.
And so I really thought he was a safe pick tonight.
Yeah, and surprisingly, they don't guard the position. New Orleans doesn't guard that position well, considering that Davis plays.
It is
power
rather
forward.
surprising, you know. There are some players out there that are just absolute blocking machines.
That's true.
And that shows up really well on the stat sheet, but that doesn't mean that you're just shutting down power forwards every night.
I'm also assuming that advanced stats will probably show that he covers a lot more than his power forwards.
Right.
Probably a lot of help
He's a total
defense.
force. And right now, especially, they're a little thin with the rest of their lineup, so they don't have a lot of guys. You know, whether he's concentrating on Patterson tonight or Valanciunas. You know.
Yeah, you just said he's helping a lot because they have nobody, but apparently the nobody that they have, Seth started tonight. How did that happen? About? Yeah, exactly. He doesn't even know who we're talking about. We're talking about a Jinka pick. Even that, I don't even know if that says that.
Yeah, he started at center.
I'm not even willing to talk about him.
I think that the pick was so strange that we're not going to talk about it. But what we are going to talk about coming after the break is Giles Mailbag. It's time, guys. You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Jonathan, Zach, and Seth. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy Leagues team by tweeting at SFL Show.
I'm sorry. I love that more
That was
than anything.
fantastic.
That was
Donald's
great, right?
mailbag.
Thank you, voiceover guy who's sitting in the corner in his cage, being nice and drinking from his little water bottle. That was pretty good, right? He does good work.
You know, when
That
he gets
was-
off the
that
once he
was
gets off the
lovely.
wheel, the little gerbil wheel that we have for him in the corner.
Well, that's how he makes our audio. You didn't know that? It's a gerbil wheel.
Oh.
It's got Fruity Loops on the end.
You know what time it is?
It's mailbag time.
It's mailbag time. Mailbag time.
All right, during this segment, it's pretty self-explanatory. My nickname is Jonald. This is a mailbag segment, so it's my mailbag. We're going to answer your questions that you may or may not have sent us. Probably not, since there's only one person listening right now. Unless you sent us 6 questions, in which case, congratulations to you. That's a pretty good resume right there. You ready for this, Seth? You're pretty excited.
I love the mailbag. It's
All
my
right.
favorite. It's my favorite.
Yeah, you just want to know what the names I picked are. First question comes from Ted Mosby. Which Olympic sport would be the most exciting to include in a daily fantasy format?
That's stupid. Ted Mosby didn't write in.
Ted Mosby's a fictional character, first off, so clearly he did not write in.
What was the question again?
Wow, you are such a fail.
I would be pretty geared up if hockey was available.
Oh, go with out of the box. That's so boring.
Olympic
Why would I
sport
need to
for
go
fantasy?
out of the box?
Which Olympic sport would be best for fantasy?
Curling.
See, I
How many
figured
sweeps you get? You know, how many times
average
somebody
sweeps
falls?
per minute?
All right.
it's pretty
Are we
fantastic.
talking about what would be the coolest or what people would actually be interested in?
No. It's not.
Well,
That's
hockey.
boring. Yeah, that would be
Snowboarding
obvious.
would be pretty sweet.
Dude, snowboarding. Like every snowboarding sport, you just pick one guy for like there's slope style, there's pipe.
You wouldn't even know when you got points.
Of course you
You'd
would.
be like, oh, that looked good.
What about the ski jump?
How many times did he turn around?
Yeah, Seth, apparently your wife is afraid of the ski jump. Can you explain this to me? She's
Yeah,
afraid
I
of
mean,
it. Like,
it's-
genuinely.
It's scary. You are basically flying the length of a football field at
She's
60
not.
miles
I
an
was saying,
hour.
it's exactly what I thought. She goes, oh, I'm scared. I'm like, you're not doing it. The people on the TV
I'm like,
are
this
doing
is
it.
exciting. This is high octane.
All right, the correct answer, of course, was curling. Like, Seth, that's the right answer.
Well, yeah, I'm always right.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? The speed skating where 6 of them go at the same time, that's exciting because they all wipe each other out. I love that. That's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it seems like a really easy game to score, too.
Okay, none of them are easy. You said sweeping. You get points for sweeping.
I don't know. Ask another question.
What is this, the housemaid Olympics?
Ask
Come
us some
on.
damn questions.
Ask yourself some questions. All right, Inigo Montoya writes, now that baseball is almost upon us, how do you prepare for the first few weeks of the season when you don't have any statistics to rely upon? First off, Inigo, you're wrong. There are actually batter versus pitcher stats from years past. I'm assuming that's what one of you would probably say.
There's a lot of trends that you can look at when it comes to baseball. I don't think this is something that historically, compared to the other sports, this is just as valuable as anything else. There's so many different types of statistics that are relevant for pitchers and hitters.
So do you just stay away from like rookie pitchers, rookie hitters, like just people you don't have information on?
Yeah, I mean, you should wait to get a read on certain people,
It's
people that are coming into the season with nagging injuries, stuff like that. Just certain things you got to feel out. People on new teams, people in new
ballparks. that
new
we're going for?
ballparks. New, what
Like,
else,
for
Seth?
instance, Robinson Cano going from the Yankees to the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, going from a hitter's ballpark to an absolute
AL
awful.
to NL.
That's
there's,
right.
There's all different stuff that you can
Did I
look at.
steal your
That's
point?
exactly
Seth?
what I was
Oh,
gonna
I'm sorry.
say.
I stepped on your point. I didn't know.
I mean, to prepare for fantasy baseball, for me, is pretty straightforward. I take a good shower with a sugar scrub. I sit down with a cup of coffee with a little Kahlua in it, and I open up my internet browsing tool, and I look at some statistics.
Do you put some peanut butter on your internet vent?
I make some notes on some Post-its, and then I paper my walls with it.
Oh.
And I look at it every single day until the season starts.
I'm
And I say, okay, I'm ready to draft
I'm glad
this
that
person.
Seth takes this segment so seriously. It's my mailbag. I'm taking control. We're clearly moving on. All right, next question is from Gummy Bear Princess on Twitter. I have both Jeff Green and Damari Carroll on my fantasy team. Would a swap between both of them in real life affect my team? This comes from one of those silly trade rumors that I read literally one time. Apparently, Damari Carroll is in talks to get traded if Jeff Green goes to Atlanta. This is one of those rumors that's 99.9% not happening. Is it even worth talking
There
about?
are some discussions about Jeff Green potentially
Jeff Green's
leaving.
going well.
It's a tough fit
He has
right
a
now.
$9.5 million option for next year. He's picking that option up 100%.
Yeah, but who's going to take him?
Atlanta makes sense. They're kind of middling. They're not really sure where they're going. They're in a playoff position right now.
I got to tell you, I'm really disappointed in what has happened in Jeff Green. Obviously, he showed a couple sparks this year so far, but he hasn't been anywhere close to consistent. And it's just a shame. You know, you figured a guy that came in and looked like he was kind of boosting his career up a little bit after getting away from Oklahoma City, and he had those health issues, and then he came back tough after that, and you really thought this might be a big future for him, but it's not looking nearly as promising as it once was, and it's kind of disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, he's constantly getting outshined by like up-and-coming players, vets that shouldn't, like Gerald Wallace is continuing to outshine him on a daily basis. Like, that's weird.
Physically, he's very similar to Paul George, but obviously doesn't have any of the intangibles that George has.
Or the mean streak, or any. He just
That's
doesn't-
an intangible.
I guess that's true. He seems disinterested. I've watched a lot of Jeff Green. He never really gets up. Like Rondo can't seem to ever get him. Well, go ahead.
Would you say that Jeff Green's feeling a little blue?
All right. I think we just
That's
killed
his chime in.
Yeah, that is.
I
what-
cannot believe that's his chime in.
That's his. You can't believe that Seth made a stupid joke.
He seems disinterested, maybe a little distressed. That's the definition of blue to me.
Oh my God, you're
As
the worst.
Seth looks back into Seth's book of crappy jokes.
What about the other, Zach? What about the other end of this
I don't
question?
have a book.
Damari Carroll on a Celtics team. I feel like that kills his. I feel like this raises Jeff Green's value, but kills Damari Carroll's value. I think he would get pretty much shoved down in the rotation.
The Celtics backcourt is just very difficult to look at right now.
I would say, who do you consider in that
and
rotation?
And then you have all this weird, this Gerald Wallace stuff going on.
Humphreys plays sometimes.
Yeah, you got who's playing the big small forward spot with Jeff Green and Gerald Wallace starting, and then you have the nights where Bradley's available, and you have Rondo and Bradley starting. Are they going small? Are they going big? It just seems like nobody in that lineup except Solinger and Rondo really can count on what they're going to get right now.
I'd like to finish this by saying Gerald Wallace is starting at shooting guard tonight.
That's what I'm saying.
That's actually happening. We'll move on that note. This one comes from Flinch Livingston. What is your take on the Michael Sam story? If nobody heard this, Michael Sam, linebacker from Missouri, came out. Seems that he was maybe forced out because apparently there were some reports that somebody was going to name him. That's what I read somewhere.
Came out as gay.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Came out. That's you don't need. What else do you come
out
out
of college for the draft? Let's be clear. He came out as gay, and you know what? Why should anybody care?
That's what
Seriously.
I'm saying.
He's going to go into the NFL. He's I heard somebody say that he's projected as a mid-round pick, and now that he came out, he's not projected to be picked at all.
I thought was ridiculous.
That was what one GM said.
And you know what? I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Do you think a guy like this is going into the locker rooms and saying, "Oh man, look at all these pieces of candy that are around me. I'm going to really enjoy this." Yeah, whatever. He's going to look at you. You think he's going to come on to you?
Well,
I mean, if I was in a room full of women I was attracted to, I'm going to look, but I'm not going to go and try to get on top of everybody that I'm playing football with on a daily basis.
I sure hope not. You're married. That's a little uncomfortable.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we have to even talk about
I know.
this.
That's the problem. They said he came out to his team before the season. Apparently a lot of scouts knew, like a lot of people knew, and then he only kind of mentioned it because he said it might have gotten leaked. He wanted to get ahead of it. Like, it's sad that he needs to do that.
I think so too, and I think that anybody who is going to pass him over on the draft for this, I'm sorry, we don't live in the same America.
That is very, very true. Is there anything else to add?
America.
Anything else to add? Other than
it's 2014. Get over it.
Exactly. So it's going to be a bigger story than it needs to be at the combine. If he does well, it's going to be a story. If he does poorly, it's going to be a story. I feel like he's going to become the second most famous person in the draft behind Johnny Manziel right now.
It's just ridiculous.
It is.
Really
I completely agree. Let's move
You know what?
on.
It's probably good for his career, though. It really, I bet it is.
I don't think he did it for the reason.
He's talented, and now he's got people talking about him. And you know what? He's probably going to be a pivotal figure in the LGBT argument, whatever the hell we have going on in this country.
I'm glad you could spell, Seth. That was good.
You're talented.
He's entertaining as well.
With the platform that he's going to get, I hope he does some good with it. That's all I can say about that.
Good. All right, another question. We're probably going to get a question after the break. We'll try to get a couple on. Nicholas Cage writes, do you guys have any cool new ideas for a fantasy league or sport that you want to see become popular? Any kind of variant on a game? Anything that isn't seen right now?
I would love to see some fantasy lacrosse, but that's for selfish reasons. I'm just a fan of lacrosse.
Man, why do you gotta get your own personal beliefs in there?
I'll tell you one thing that's getting launched on Star Fantasy League soon that I'm really excited to see is some turbo games, which is going to be really fun.
What do you mean? What do you mean by turbo games?
Games that there are less. It's not a quick pick game like you might see elsewhere, but it's an easier format for you to learn as a beginner. You pick one person from each position from the entire pool of players.
Oh, so you mean instead of two at each position, you just pick one, and then it's like half a lineup basically?
That's right. It's really exciting. Very
that is pretty cool. So yeah, you don't have to do twice the research. You do half.
You still have to do a lot of research because you have a lot of people that you're playing against. You just get a smaller salary cap and a smaller team.
That's not too bad. Zach, what about you? What kind of variant on a game or different sport, or what do you think should become popular?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Nicolas Cage for his role in Con Air.
A different Nicolas Cage. This one spells it with a K.
Oh.
His last name or the Nicholas part?
Both.
Well, his parents knew what they were doing. I would be interested to see what we could make out of a tennis tournament. I would be excited to see that. And, maybe because there's so many different types of points that you get in tennis. And I think if you did something that, made, instead of saying, oh, this is 1 point for this, 1 point for this, maybe make it half, quarter of a point. But I'd be pumped up looking for aces and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when you said that. I think that'd be cool because it's
you got the matchups. You got different guys that are speed guys. All sorts of stuff to look at. I think
you can get points for grunts in women's tennis.
No, that would be so uncomfortable.
That'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Go with the Croatian women. They grunt all the time. It's really uncomfortable.
What do you know about that?
They go croat.
Jonathan's mailbag is not finished. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about that and also tomorrow's NBA slate. You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on the Nick Monsanto Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show. Yep.
I'm honestly not sure how we can follow that last commercial. Love stinks. Yeah, yeah. Woof, woof. What the heck was that?
Well, that dog had bad breath, and you know why it had such bad breath, don't you?
No. That's not PG. I don't want to know.
No, it's just all those bones.
He had a non-PG joke answer off the air, and you refused to say it.
All kinds of bone breath going on.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was.
I'm excited for you to pack your bags for Omaha.
Yeah, that is going to be great.
Omaha.
Shipping off to Omaha. See you later, Seth.
I'm not going to Omaha.
Good continuity, Seth. Good continuity, buddy.
Why do you guys kick me off the show every day?
Ask yourself the damn question.
Well, I was asking myself that question.
In the last segment, we finally debuted John Old's mailbag with some awesome intro music, and it entertained me in ways that you can't even imagine. But we didn't get to the last question, and I have to get in because he emailed us twice in a row, and I just had to get to him. Father Mohagan writes, how does a GM coach or coaching change affect how you view a team? He's relating this to Chris Grant, the GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers, getting fired, and a couple days ago, Mo Cheeks, the head coach of Detroit, getting fired. Since we are talking about basketball, and I believe at least one of Cleveland's playing tomorrow, how do you think a GM and or a coaching change affects daily fantasy players?
I just want to add one thing before Zach goes
Of course you do, Seth.
I think Mo Cheeks would be a great name for a stripper.
I can't believe we even have you on this show.
Well,
I really can't.
Think about it.
Well, he's not going to contribute any sort of intellectual stuff to
he'll say
the question.
Oh, so. I thought that guy was on that team. Ergo, Elias. I almost said Ergo Yasova. That was not going to work.
Well, Seth, who does Luol Deng play for?
The Bulls.
Wrong.
That's incorrect.
I have no idea.
I'm sorry.
Isn't he hurt?
A, he's not hurt, and B, he no longer plays for the Bulls. But
who does he play for now? He must have
Cleveland.
gotten traded. Clearly,
he did. That's correct.
He must not be on the Bulls anymore.
Because I don't know. He must not be there. All right, Zach, please answer the question how you think Mo Cheeks getting removed from the team. Because that team was one of the – I can't believe Joe Dumars hasn't been fired, by the way.
Well, usually in the type of situation where you have a coach that gets fired, I'm not really going to concern myself with GM because, honestly, I'm not too concerned with it.
You're not concerned with the way Cleveland is, just changing everything up on a whim? They are all
Well, no, but
place.
I'm not from a fantasy's perspective, I'm honestly not that concerned. When a coach gets fired – usually you have somebody come in as an interim coach before whoever they hire comes in, unless they end up keeping the interim coach. And in that situation, you're going to have a guy that is pretty much going to walk on eggshells for a couple weeks and make sure that he doesn't make any big sort of changes, any big decisions. That's not what they're asking him to do. They're asking him to maintain continuity of the organization while they search for a new coach.
Did you see who it might be who got moved up as an assistant in Detroit?
No.
Rasheed Wallace. Not even joking. They said he may move to lead assistant or interim coach, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Yeah, Seth apparently thinks that now is going to be tape time for him because he has nothing else to do on the show.
Yeah, he's got nothing to contribute here.
That's a good thing we tape.
But that's how I feel about it. I feel like a lot of these players, there's not going to be a big difference made in what they're going to do, how many minutes they're going to get, until you see a new coach in there who decides that he's going to make up a new regime and he's going to change around the culture within the organization. For the time being, I wouldn't worry about it until you see who comes in.
So would you stay away, or do you think it's par for the course with the interim?
Par for the course.
Okay. So I guess we aren't talking about Detroit today because obviously they're playing right now, I believe.
Detroit.
I don't think that's not French.
Which
Detroit.
brings me back to the malice of the palace.
All right, so tomorrow we're looking at a 7-game schedule. It is Tuesday. There is a $50 NBA free roll on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Let's prep our loyal listener, right? Loyal listener?
Yeah.
Seth, does that sound about right?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you
That's the best we're going to get.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only.
You guys can't see what's going on right now. I've covered my face in tape. I have a little tape beard. Some of it's in my mouth. Some of it's on my glasses. So if you want to see this, you're going to have to watch this show because I'm not done. There's more tape to be had on my face.
Oh, lovely. It's not like he's ruining the rest of the show. Oh, wait, he is. Let's get into it tomorrow. $100,000 salary cap, StarFantasyLeagues.com. 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 centers, 2 utility, 8 positions of fun, Zach. How are we filling these 8 positions? What games are you looking at? Where are we going? Where are you getting your value? It's pandemonium. What are we doing?
Well, we've got some great news about tomorrow night that I'd just like to point out.
Some great news?
Along with a $50 free roll on StarFantasyLeagues.com, which Seth may or may not be participating in. Regardless, he would end up losing.
Yeah, I was say if he participates, he'd be last place. That's about
Pretty
right.
much every game tomorrow night is a close spread.
Yeah, what's up? I do have that written down on my cheat sheet here. There's only one spread that's not out, Washington-Memphis, but only because who knows?
And besides that, it's 4.5 and under.
Yep.
Now you know that there will end up being a couple blowouts. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter. But at least you know in your heart that you didn't make the wrong decision because you went with a game that was a 10 or 11 point spread. Yeah, and then there was a blowout, and then you're not surprised, and then you're like, why did I do that?
Yeah, for those not aware of why Zach is going that route, it's if you're picking a game with a huge point spread and it ends up being a blowout in the first half, the guys that you have on that team are not going to play big minutes in the second half.
Value is minutes, and minutes is money.
Wow. Did you trademark that?
I think I should.
So value equals money.
Value equal. Wow, this is I don't like this equation. I'm not good at math, so we're not going to do this anymore.
Okay, so let's keep going here.
Yes, that's
true. So within these games, and as you know, because I believe that just a little while ago, a few weeks ago, we spoke about one of the games that will be repeated tomorrow night in the Oklahoma City Thunder going up against Portland. This game just gets me all sorts of giddy.
Do you salivate?
I do. I get excited. It's going to be on NBA TV. I know some people are like, well, that's not a big game, and that's because it's on Tuesday. But regardless, it's going to be exciting because everybody's going to be able to watch it. And the point guard matchup tomorrow night between Reggie Jackson already went quite well against Damian Lillard. He had 15, 7, and 5. Lillard also did very well.
Well, both teams are bottom 5 against the point guard position.
Yeah, it's a perfect point guard matchup for both players in what should be a high-scoring game. And obviously you have the two big stars who are going to get amped up for this game in LaMarcus Aldridge and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, who had 46, 5, and 4 last time.
That's it? 46, 5, and 4.
I know, can you believe that? That's pretty low for him.
Didn't he have almost a triple-double with like 40 points the other day?
Against the Knicks, yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, he had over 60. I think he had 61 and a half fantasy
62
points the other night.
Well, the best part of the Durant-LaMarcus Aldridge matchup is the opposing team's defense in those two positions is either average in the league or not very good. So you're getting the best player in the league against a subpar defensive matchup, which is just it screams alarm for you. You got to go for those two.
These guys get pumped up, and LaMarcus Aldridge dipping a little bit lately. He had 29 points and 16 rebounds against them last time.
He's had a couple of not so good fantasy matchups. I think he played Memphis this week.
Yeah, I would look for some potential value in this game because he could definitely go off. The other big game that is more than obvious with a pretty high over-under of 203 is Utah against the Lakers.
Yeah, hold on. Where are we going with this Lakers team before we even start to break this down? What the heck is that? One day Kaman goes for 27 and 10. Kendall Marshall's back to being a double-double machine, but he'll probably get 4 minutes tomorrow night. Like, what do you make of this team? I don't understand them at all.
I don't either. I don't understand what Mike D'Antoni is doing. The funny thing is that Mike D'Antoni, before he came to Los Angeles, didn't really have a reputation for being a guy that just shuffles people around. He didn't really do that in Phoenix. He did it a little bit in New York, increased it a little bit. But this has turned out to be his thing, that anybody that isn't playing well is going to come out of the game, and he's just going to shuffle people around until something works for however long period of time. Clearly it's not working anyways. But honestly, the only guy that I have on my radar for tomorrow, given what they've been going through, is Chris Kaman, because usually when he gets those type of minutes, he's able to put a few good games in a row. This is a very favorable matchup for him.
Yeah,
and I think even if he ends up getting 25 minutes, he'll have his way with them tomorrow.
So that's the only thing you're looking for in a game with a team that's the bottom 5
That's
in the
only
league?
thing I'm looking for with the Lakers.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's
because I think Kaman will have great value, and everybody else is pretty much just driving me crazy right now.
Here's a good question.
Wesley Johnson could also have good value.
Here's a good question.
Two great games in a row for him.
Will your mind be made up in a different way if Steve Nash does not play tomorrow, or if he's announced out before the game? Will you go for a Steve Blake or a Kendall Marshall as a value play? I guess Steve Blake's around like the 12,000, so he's not really value.
Possibly Marshall. It's really difficult. I mean, with Young out, that's nice. I'm not sure if Farmar's playing tomorrow, if they've announced that yet.
I don't even know. That's the problem.
So there's a lot of stuff that you got to iron out there.
Yeah, make sure you definitely.
And while you're looking at that, you can see some opportunities by seeing who's playing and who's not.
Exactly. Make sure you always monitor these situations with injuries. A lot of players are announced probable or game time decision always factor that in when you pick a player. If they end up starting, if they don't end up playing at all, you don't want to be caught off guard. You want to have a backup plan to your lineup that you currently built if it includes a game-time player.
That's absolutely right, up to the minute.
Yep.
And the good thing about it is that Star Fantasy Leagues, even if you take a chance on somebody that might be out, we have a late swap feature, and this is a late game, which will allow you to get somebody else in should the player that you chose to take a chance on doesn't come through for you.
That is very true.
So if you're dumb enough to put in Steve Nash, then you could swap him out for Rick Nash. It probably has more value.
Wow, you are just the worst.
Rick Nash is a hockey player.
Thank you, Zach.
We're talking late swaps here on the Star Fantasy League shows. Tweet us at SFL Show if you like the late swap feature. A lot of our players are saying they really enjoy it. It gives them a little bit of leeway if you put in a David Lee and, all of a sudden he's out, or a Carlos Boozer. Oops, he just decided to not play tonight. Guess what? Last second, you can swap him out. Put in a brand new player, get his points right away. What other matchups you looking at, Zach? Like I said, we got a 7-game slate. We've only talked about 2.
I haven't even finished yet.
Oh, whoa. Oh, you don't have Utah yet.
But wait,
Utah.
there's more.
Seth put his stupid comment in
Gordon
and we got
Hayward.
sidetracked.
Gordon
Yes.
Hayward, the Lakers are 26 against small forwards. Hayward with 24, 9, and 5 last time he played them.
And he's healthy.
And Derek Favors, 30th, the Lakers are ranked against power forwards, and he got 18 and 14 against them last time. I think those guys are both in play, and their performance as of late has dropped their value a little bit. I think they're definitely the two that you should look at. My favorite play of the night.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Dun, dun, dun,
Hold on.
dun.
Let's say,
Favorite
we
play.
need like a siren. Play of the night. Play of the night. Voiceover guy.
Play of the night.
Hey. No, he does not hear.
No, he didn't say anything.
He's not interested.
My favorite play of the night is a guy.
I hope it's a guy.
Is a guy that comes from a small town, Nashua.
Just a small town girl?
No, I don't actually know where he is from. But he is IT2. He is Isaiah Thomas.
Hold on, Zach. You jumped the shark there. You should have let Seth try to decipher who IT2 was.
Do you know what team Isaiah Thomas is on? And it's
Knicks.
not okay.
Wow.
So I was going to say it's not the Pistons because this is IT2.
Yeah. We're talking about Sacramento, Cleveland for those that are Seth.
I actually knew it was on Sacramento.
No,
I'm sure you did.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
All right. Why do you like IT2? Is it because that Kyrie Irving can't guard?
Kyrie
a lamp?
Irving literally doesn't play defense, and Isaiah Thomas, coming off a great game, absolutely chews up these type of matchups. It's a high over-under, over 200 points. I think he's just going to kill it tomorrow night. I think the funny thing is he was complaining about a little issue he's having with his hand or something.
Oh, yeah, I did. It said non-shooting hand, though, right?
Yeah, and he went for over 40 fantasy points last night.
He's definitely going to get it against this Cleveland team is all over the place.
So let me ask you a question. Do you know where Isaiah Thomas is actually from?
No.
He's from Tacoma, Washington. What do you know about Tacoma, Washington?
Wow, that was correct. Well, I don't know anything about Tacoma, Washington. Go ahead.
You know who coaches football up in Tacoma, Washington?
No.
And is also a math teacher?
Oh, God.
John Kitna.
Ah, you had to get your one Kidna-ism. It's
Are
not
you
even
certain of that?
John Kitna is a
No.
math teacher.
Are you
at
certain
Tacoma,
of the
Washington.
Isaiah Thomas thing, or did you just want to mention John Kitna?
There you go.
Oh, he's been
Read it and weep.
He's been wikiing while we've been
Well,
talking
no,
basketball.
I thought that was what he was doing, but I also thought that maybe he was just looking up that Tacoma, Washington thing again so that he could talk about John Kitna.
I bet they know each other. They probably partied together.
Why does everything degrade into John Kitna?
There's
Zach,
like 6 degrees of Kitna.
Zach, can we get to your other value? I know you mentioned IT2, but before we go to break and end the show, let's give some value. High play, middle play, low play, real quick.
I think that there is a chance that Trey Burke could have a good game tomorrow.
That's mid value.
I think that's possible. And I would also keep an eye on what's going on with Carlos Boozer tomorrow, whether he's going to go or not. Taj Gibson would make a great play against Atlanta. Much more physical than Paul Millsap. He would have his way.
I completely agree. And we're wrapping up the show after the break. You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
The Star Fantasy League show is now part of the Nick Monsanto show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now.
We are wrapped up on another Star.
Turn off your radio. Turn it off. Turn it off.
I'm just not even going to say we're wrapped up anymore because, Seth, you're just going to interrupt me every single time.
Well, there's nothing left to listen to.
That's pretty true. That's actually true. You guys
What do
can
we
turn
have?
off
Like
your
another
radios.
good 1.5 minutes left?
Actually, we have a 2-minute and 1 second close.
Seth, no, but seriously, have a good time in Tallahassee. We're all rooting for you.
Why did
thought
you
it was
change?
Omaha.
Why did you change it?
You know, we got a lot going on in Star Fantasy Leagues this week. If you're listening, check out starfantasyleagues.com. We have 2 free rolls we have free rolls every day.
What, 2?
We have
Man, you don't even know how to
$50
do
free
this,
rolls.
Seth.
Tuesday and Thursday for basketball. We have free games for hockey. Baseball's
Actually,
coming soon.
we don't. Hockey's gone for the next week and a half.
Ah, good point. Yeah,
That's why we're not talking hockey. We actually have Nick coming on Tuesday and Thursday to talk hockey, but it's actually Olympic hockey we're going to be talking, which will be fun.
But if you tweet us at SFL Show, we'll give you a $5 credit in your account as long as you're eligible to play. It's a great way.
No strings attached.
No
Strings
strings attached.
Just $5.
It's a great way to come and get your feet wet.
I'm
with
going
daily
to
fantasy
strike
sports.
you for these little follies.
What follies?
What follies?
You're
Well, he does. He's fumbling all
he
over
is. He's
himself.
bumbling.
Again, $5 free credit. All you have to do is tweet at SFL Show. Tell us your username. Sign up for an account. And guess what? We're going to give you free money right in your account. On
Maybe
Star Fantasy
Jonald
Leagues.
will even talk to you.
It's probably true because in the SFL chat room, I am SFL Jonald. That's actually not true whatsoever. I'm SFL Jonathan. That's me, right?
I'm SFL Beast.
We should actually have funny little nicknames because Seth will be SFL.
Turn the radio off. Turn it
Seth
off.
will be SFL John Kitna.
I'm the
sure.
flavor master. Turn off your radio.
Can you believe that? Actually, you know what the best part is, Zach? For Tuesday and Thursday's show, we are getting Nick back, and that means no more Seth.
Yeah, well, I'm gone.
That,
You know
that-
what? I think you should mention something about a little Cavaliers player to close this out here.
I should? No,
Yeah.
I don't want to mention anything. Oh, you know what?
If you're Isaiah Thomas and you live in the same place as John Kitna,
That was actually my sign-off. You stole my sign-off.
Well-
if you didn't know that Isaiah Thomas and John Kitna were best friends forever, we'll help you make a better lineup next time.
Kitna.
Have a good night.